Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. My name is Craig Rainey. They call me the Renaissance Man. Welcome to my podcast. Let's see if we get started.
It is a cold day here in Austin, Texas, down around 31 degrees. They're saying that it feels like 20. I've always had a problem with that. People go, well, it feels like. This seems pretty subjective because being that I'm married to somebody from Canada, her perception of cold is a lot different than mine. But that's not really what this is about. Happy New Year, y'all. Happy 2023. I hope that your year has started off as well as mine is. And I've been a bit remiss. I haven't talked to y'all since the middle of December with the Christmas holidays and did some traveling and everything else. Oh, it's just so much fun. Life is good. Life is good. Ups and downs included. But anyway, it's right at the end of January, and I thought we'd get our year stopped off. Easy for me to say. Started off with some news, some good news. But before we get to that, pardon me, I want to encourage y'all to get hold of me. And a couple ways you can do that. Best way is email me at craig@craigrainey.com. And I do get occasional emails from y'all, and I do appreciate those. And the other thing is make sure that no matter what platform you're on, there's usually a place where you can either subscribe or hit the like button, and really appreciate that. That way you know when there are new episodes coming out, that kind of thing. And anyway, keep us informed. Over the two podcast platforms I've got, I'm generating a pretty good group of listeners, and I just want you to know that I really appreciate you taking the time to spend time with me, and I mean that sincerely, because you have a lot of choices, and today with you got 5-10 seconds to get somebody's interest and then they're gone. I don't get started that quickly, and so I appreciate the patience that you show. But anyway, just to catch up with you. And by the way, just a couple more things. I didn't finish everything. If you want to cyber stalk me, if you Google Craig Rainey anywhere, you'll find me. But craigrainey.com is my website. And if you're more the fan of the spoken word as compared to the written, or the written word as compared to the spoken word, I am not really warmed up today, and I apologize. But if spoken word, you're here. But if you're a fan of the written word, I do have an online magazine, Craig Rainey's magazine, and it is craigrainey.info. But if you just Google Craig Rainey magazine, you'll come up with it. And it's been about a month since I've put something up new there, but I've got a few things that are cooking, a couple short stories and some other things. And but let's get to it. Just kind of catching up. I finished up my fourth book in the Carson Brand series, and if you haven't checked that out, I encourage you to do it. We're selling a lot of copies of it. I'm starting to see those numbers at telemetry start to build, and I've gotten quite a few comments and reviews on it, and overwhelmingly positive. When I came up with the Carson Brand idea, I wasn't sure if it would catch on. I wasn't sure if it was going to be an idea that people would embrace, and particularly my genre, which I do others too, and I got more news about that. But my genre in this case is the suspense thriller, action thriller, spy novel group, and those folks. And I'm not just a writer; I'm a consumer of those. I just read the book, Jack Reacher book, written by Lee Childs, Worth Dying For. It was okay. I'm not enjoying it as much as I've enjoyed the earlier ones, and for different reasons. It's not that I'm a fan. I'll continue to read. I just think that it's kind of hit and miss these days with Jack Reacher, but that's not my point. You can't argue with the number one selling spy novel franchise in the world, so it's not about that. But when I did the Carson Brand series, I didn't want to go the general direction that everybody does. When they do a spy novel, it's primarily it's a prior service, former military special ops guy that gets in the real world, doesn't really have a place for himself. They're usually divorced, have no family. They wander around, or they're inculcated into some new special program in which they're reprogrammed to be this killing machine, that kind of thing. And by the way, I'm not sick. I just drank the richest hot chocolate I've ever made, and because it's cold, and I thought, this sounds like a good idea. I didn't think about the ramifications of getting in front of a mic before it, but this is one of the few times that I've drank something, and it was so sweet that it made me thirsty. I had to drink water. So I'm still clearing my system from one of the best hot chocolates I've ever made. And anyway, so forgive me. I'll try not to clear my throat and do that kind of thing too much. It'll hopefully clear up here in a second. I do have water with me, so let me take a sip. See if we can avoid that. But so when I came out with Carson Brand, who he doesn't fit the model, the formula. He's not the archetypical military badass dude that gets into this thing. And I did it on purpose. I did it on purpose because I wanted to go a different way. I wanted to have a fresh outlook on this. I didn't want to retread what other creative people have done. So I thought, well, let me try this. And anytime that you experiment with a product, and that's what it is. It's a written word, but it's still a product. When you throw your creativity out there, you risk you risk failure. You risk negativity. You risk a lot of things, and no matter. And I've got armadillo skin, but anytime that somebody reviews one of my novels or a film I've been in or some music I've done, when they review it negatively, they're doing their job. In the case of a consumer, they've paid for it, and they're going to give you their honest opinion. And I think that's good. Like I said, I have armadillo skin, but it still bugs me sometimes. And it doesn't bug me because of my personal reasons, because it's not personal. It has to do with, did I serve my audience? Did I serve my reader? Did I serve my, the listener, depending on what the medium is? And I really, really, really write these books for y'all. I write these novels for the readers. I don't do it for self-aggrandizement. I don't do it for fame. I don't do it so that I can be a millionaire. That's not very practical to think you're going to do that. But I just wanted to see if it's something that I could bring to the industry, to the market, that would be enjoyed by the readers. And I'll give you an example. I consume a lot of movies and film, and one of them I just watched. What is the name? I forget what it's called. Anyway, I know. Shotgun Wedding is what it's called, and it has Jennifer Lopez in it, Cheech Marin's in it, and DeHamill, that guy. And I've seen all these folks. I've seen them in movies that I enjoyed, and what I found with this movie is I could sit through it, but it wasn't remarkable in any way. It wasn't. It didn't encourage me to hope they have a sequel to it. It was just blank fare. I mean, unlike one I just saw, which was Vengeance. I think it's on Amazon. Excellent movie. Oh, you got to see it. In fact, I went into it just cringing, going, "Oh, they're really going to badmouth Texas and this and that." And they really gave Texas a fair shake. And not only that, but the writer, and forgive me, his name escapes me. Every one of you who've seen it goes, "No, it's this guy," and I apologize, but he's very clever writing in a lot of ways. The way that he portrayed himself in this, the way he portrayed the Texas folks in it, and how he explained ghosts to the kid. That's such a great explanation, and you'll watch it and you'll see. I really enjoyed it, but it's rare. I'm finding that, like many movie houses, they're on a 20 movie formula, and what that is, they'll make 20 films, and one of them will be a blockbuster and make them all the money that they ever wanted to make. The others, they hope they make money, but there's going to be one blockbuster out of 20, and unfortunately, I'm going through that. With films, it's not every 20, but about every fifth or sixth, eighth one is something I went, hey, that's good. I'll add that to my collection, because the ultimate homage I can pay to a filmmaker is if I buy their movie. And, if I like something, I'll buy it. We don't need to go down that road any further. So with Carson Brand, I just wanted to have something that was remarkable. I wanted to have something that you can't just open any spy novel and find this. It's going to be something different. And so, as I mentioned, with Sovereign Rule, which was the fourth in the series and the latest one, I've got another one that I'm going to start writing. I got something else going on. I'll get to that. But I took a little turn with it. I wanted to do some different things, and I'm pleased to say that it's getting a really, really warm reception. And I thank you for that. I appreciate it. It's a story that I wanted to tell. I wanted to tell it in this way, and I wanted to go this direction with the genre, and I did it. And I think I might have been okay on it. But anyway, that's why I went into the Carson Brand direction the way that I did, and the reason I did, and I took a big risk, and the risk was well invested. It's taking off. I'm surprised Sovereign Rule is actually caught up with Dark Motive, which Dark Motive, the second book in the series, is the number one seller right now. And I'm not sure why, but it is. But Sovereign Rule, which just came out, because I put 2 out in December, Reasonable Sin, the third, and Sovereign Rule, the fourth. And I mentioned that in the previous episode that, man, I'm just really, really motivated to write. And it's and by the way, that's still going on, to give you an update. But anyway, so when I did that and I saw that I was getting more readership, I had to update all my landing pages for my books. And because some were kind of clunky, because when you're starting off in the writing business, you're trying to develop your platform. And by the way, y'all, you readers, I appreciate you tolerating me in this, but you writers and those of you who are trying to expand your footprint and get known, and maybe someday get a publishing deal, or maybe get a movie deal where they take one of your books and they make it into a film. But everything that you read, everything that you hear talks about building your author's platform. You have to have websites and blog sites, and podcasts are advisable, and you become prolific, and short stories, novellas, novels, just really go and really work at it, and you build that brand, you build who you are, so people know, hey, I know who Craig Rainey is. And it helps that I've been in the film business, music business, so I had a little bit of a little, I'm going to call it notoriety. For any of you who've seen some of the films I've been in, that's all you could really call it. But I can see the Craig Rainey author brand building, so I thought, well, I'm going to have to spruce this up. Pardon me. It's still hot chocolate. I apologize. And so I redid all the landing pages, and for those of you who don't know, I build my own websites, and that started off a long time ago in the music business because, and I told the story about this, I had a web designer, but he wasn't a very good speller, and it just wasn't, so I had to get into the web design business. Now, I'm not really, really good at it. I'm okay at it. I think I built a pretty good website, and these look professional. My SEO seems to be working, so I think I've got a lot of the bells and whistles. Sometimes my mail forms, the PHP and everything, it's not really working out like it should, and I apologize about that. I'll get that straightened out here, hopefully by the end of February. I might have to get a pro in on that to make that happen. But again, Craig at CraigRainey.com. You can always get me there. That always works. But anyway, so I redid the landing pages, and that worked out. And a while back I revamped some covers. I'm coming to a point, and because I'm trying to really build a consistent, marketable look to everything that I'm doing. And for those of you who haven't figured this out, what this episode is about is it's a little introspective. It's about behind the curtain. It's about what the indie author goes through to get his or her art out there and to generate some kind of buzz. And it's funny is so many people, they think that when someone gets in the arts, they get into music, film, or authoring, or sculpting, whatever, they think they do it for the money. And I get this all the time, particularly from family. A lot of friends too, but particularly from family, because most of my friends are in the arts, and I've got two separate lives. And those who are in the arts with me, who do this or that, we talk about this. And I've got that group of friends, and I've got another group of friends because I've got a day job, and I'm a different guy, in my regular world. And so those folks, most of them don't even know that I write. They don't know that I've been in film. They don't know any of this stuff, and that's our secret, by the way. Don't tell anybody. But anyway. When you put it out there, people people think, well, you're going to make money at this. And it's funny, my mom asked me that just a couple days ago. I've been doing the film business forever, and I'm going to tell you about it. I just got cast in a Western, and we're going to Arizona in March to shoot part of it. And she says, are you going to make any money on this thing? And it's just, really? Okay. All right. Well, maybe not. That's not the point. And the reason I'm saying that, y'all, is because with the book business, with being an author and writing novels, I'm not in this thing to get rich. I'm in this thing, first off, to express myself artistically. But let me qualify that. I'm going to express myself artistically in a disciplined and acceptable manner to my market. So I am addressing a market. All of you readers out there, there are certain things that you expect from any type of art, whether it's music, whether it's a movie, book, whatever. You're going to expect certain things. You expect to see these things, or it's not going to appear to be of a caliber that you would take it seriously. And so I endeavor to do that. So I do want to be taken seriously. I do address a market, but more importantly, I really want to please my readers. I want people to enjoy what I create. I want them to become a fan. And it's not so I can sell a bunch of books, because I'm not going to get rich. I've got a great day job and I do just fine in it. It's not about that. This is about the love I have for writing. It's about how I express it. And I'm hoping that those two things combined, along with creating a disciplined and a well-formulated product, will please you, the reader. That is my goal. And the comments I'm getting, I seem to be on that track, and that's really what I'm sharing with you is thank you. Thank you for that. And I encourage you to give me those comments, but please read the books. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised if you're not already a reader. So before we depart from the author avenue and going, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the film that I'm doing, but I want to tell you about this latest book I'm working on. And it's a book that, first it's a Western. And I've done one other Western, which was Massacre at Agua Caliente, as my first novel I wrote, because I'm cowboy background. I'm from Texas, blah, blah, blah. We've all heard that. But I got motivated to do this book because I happened upon some information. I was actually researching something else, and it's not important. It was, it had to do with, it's not important. I don't want to go down the road. We have a limited amount of time. But one of the bloodiest wars, range wars in Texas history, took place between 1875 and 1876 in Mason County, Texas. And I just blundered upon this. I happened upon it. I was doing some research and looking at some other things. I went, wow. And okay, the research was for a Carson Brand book that I've got coming up, because it takes place in Texas, and I wanted to have some additional information on it. And I just happened upon this. And so anyway, the Texas Historical Society has a website and a lot of pages. So as I often do, I went ahead and I donated some money because I was getting some information from them. But I learned more about this Mason County War. And as what caught my attention about this Mason County War, let me back up a little bit, is that when I was researching, I saw that the Mason County Courthouse in Mason, Texas burned down last year. And I went, wow, I've been by that courthouse all my life, because I'm from San Angelo, and we used to drive into either San Antonio or New Braunfels, Canyon Lake, which, my grandparents had some property out there. And I settled in the San Antonio, Austin region, but used to go by there all the time. And Mason was almost a halfway mark between New Braunfels and San Angelo. So we would stop there and gas up. Back in the day, my granddad, there was a Hilltop restaurant that was there. I don't think it's there anymore. And we used to stop there in that little cafe and we'd eat. So, I have very fond memories of Mason. And so I remember going by this courthouse, and it's a beautiful courthouse. It's on the square, and when you're going through, you kind of have to make a left right at the front of the courthouse, and you make a right, and you go around it. Mason's it's an interesting laid out town. So anyway, you do that, and so I was really surprised to see that it burned down. So I read the article a little bit, and then as I went down, I found, well, this is the third time this courthouse has burned down. I went, really? I didn't know that, because I've never seen it burn down. We went by all the time. And anyway, it turns out that the courthouse was built in and I'm coming to a point, by the way. Courthouse was built in the mid 1800s. And so it burned down for the first time right after the Mason County War. and then it burned down again in the 1890s, early 1900s, and then it burned down again about a year and a half ago. So it's pretty interesting. That same building has burned down 3 times. So as I started delving further into it, that's when I learned about the Mason County War and about what happened and all the cool things that the Texas is known for. All of a sudden, I mean, my research became expanded and advanced. People like Johnny Ringo from Tombstone. What is it? Is Wyatt era. Johnny Ringo was in Mason County during the Mason County War. Now it's debatable who he knew he was there. That's fine, but I'm just saying he was here. Kingfisher, the one that's all the old movies they talk about Kingfisher. Well, he was from Texas. Everybody knows about Sam Bass if you're from Texas, because Sam Bass was probably the most famous Texas outlaw, and he was killed pretty close to my home outside of Round Rock, and and James Wesley Hardin, so forth, and so all these bad men and women too, by the way, they are they're from this region. So I was really surprised at the preponderance of notorious and famous characters that appeared in the Mason County War, and I thought, wow, that's interesting. That's kind of cool. And so as I read more, I was inspired to write a novel, which took place during that, and it's in Mason. And so that's what I'm writing now. And the name of the book that's coming out is called Hoodoo War, Hoodoo War. And that is the nickname that locals called the Mason County War. And there are a lot of different reasons they call it that. But overall, it was never really known who the bad guys were and what happened and who was at fault and everything else. Because in 1877, just around a year or so after the war was over, the Mason County Courthouse burned down, ostensibly to eliminate any evidence of wrongdoing. So anyway, it's pretty fascinating how that's going. So I'm writing the book, and I'm expecting at the current rate that I'm writing right now, I'm expecting to have the book published and out either right at the end of February or the first week in March. So y'all look for that. But anyway, that's what's going on right now. And of course, as I mentioned in the last episode, I've just got the writing frenzy. So it's, that's a big reason I haven't done a podcast since about around the 14th of December here. Yes, I've been writing, been busy doing, getting covers done and getting landing pages done for websites, this kind of thing. So it's just trying to catch up, because as I get more readers and more people pay attention, I want to make sure that I have a good quality platform. Like, I want them to, hey, these websites look good. The novels look good. They're well edited. They're interesting. Blah, blah. So that's what I'm working on. But anyway, I mentioned a movie that I've just been cast in, and this may be my swan song. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be in the film business. For those of you who don't know, I've done somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 features since I got started in the film business, and I do small roles in big movies and big roles in small movies. I'm not a superstar. I've been nominated for a couple of awards, and so I'm happy with my career. But my career is what it is. I did it because it fulfills me. And anyway, so a director I've worked with for some time, and I can't give a whole lot of information because I'm not sure how much he wants people to know before we get started. But I've worked with him a few other times, and I hadn't heard from him in years, and then he emailed me, because of course my email, Craig@CraigRainey.com, has been around, I don't know, since right after the turn of the century, honestly, I think. But anyway, so it's been with me for a long time, and so I'm pretty easy to get hold of. Contacted me and offered me a leading role in it, and I thought, well, that's great. And so we're going to film some in Arizona, I believe New Mexico's on tap, and then some Texas stuff. Which, incidentally, the Vengeance movie I was telling you about, the one that with the Texans people, filmed completely in New Mexico. Not a bit of. In fact, I was watching it. I was talking to my wife. She's from Canada, and she goes, "Is that Texas?" I said, "Nope, that's New Mexico. It's the landscape is distinctive there. You can tell the difference." But anyway, so that movie, we're filming it March through April, at least my part of it, and then goes through post. So I figure about the summer it should be out, because this guy's really, really fast at post production, and he's got a pretty good budget behind it, so I think it's going to be good. I'm going to try to hit out of the park. Wish me luck on that, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, so that kind of catches you up on what I'm doing right now. And one other piece of news, which is kind of interesting, just as an aside, I was invited by a professor at the Red McCombs School of Business at University of Texas Austin to speak before his class. And one of my books, in case you don't know, I have one nonfiction. It's a sales training book called The Art of Professional Sales. And I've been in sales most of my life. I was a sales trainer, motivational speaker for a short amount of time. But the big thing is I've been in sales all my life. And so I found that, and I'm still in sales, by the way, right now. To a large extent, it's what I do in my business. But I find to a large extent that the art of sales has gone away. People are so afraid to sell, and consumers hate salespeople because they're high pressure and they're this or that, and that's not professional sales. That is people thinking they know how to sell and going and upsetting people, and that's not how you do it. If you were a salesperson and people perceive you as high pressure, you're an amateur. If you're a salesperson and people don't want you around, you're not good at what you do, and you need to do something else or train yourself. Anyway, so was speaking in front of this group. I think it was 30 students in the class over at UT, and put together a PowerPoint presentation, went through the whole thing. It was so much fun. But what's interesting is out of the 30 young people that were in that class, there was only one young lady that said she was actually going to go into direct sales. Everybody else was just fleshing out their business degree with what they needed, which was sales. And that's sad because people are so hateful of sales, and they are so turned off by it, and it's such a daunting business, and nobody knows how to do it anymore. And I love it. It's fun for me. I have such a good time meeting people and helping them get what they want. That's me. But anyway, so that's that was, I guess, last week I did that, and so that was a lot of fun. And just seeing the campus of UT again after all these years, because I'm an old guy now, that was fun. Plenty of walking, good weather on the day, but that's about all I have for you, and I apologize. I don't have an actual agenda for this. A lot of times I try to come up with some message that is going to be bigger than I am, and I didn't do it this time. But I wanted to catch up with you. I wanted to start off 2023 with good communication with y'all and let you know where I'm trying to go. And in Texas, we call it, I just wanted to love on you a little bit and let you know that I appreciate you so much, and I really, really, really hope that you're enjoying what I'm writing. But I'll let you know more about Hoodoo War as it comes out. If you look on my landing page, it's hoodoowar.com, HOODOO war.com. That's the website's up right now, and it's got a little blurb about it. Got some stuff there that you might be interested in. But anyway, that's all I got for now. Appreciate you. Bye.